for a lot of guys, I mean, at least in my case, if I push too hard, you'll get a, does it work like that for girls too?
Not quite.
It's the Scott and Allie Not for Air podcast. The rules are gone. The shirt is untucked. Here's Scott and Allie.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to the first Scott and Allie Not for Air podcast of 2025.
You were too excited to start it. You said you had something right away, and I was like, wow. I guess this is like 2 weeks down, 2.5 weeks down, something like that. That's what that'll produce.
Well, that'll do it for you. Speaking of producing, that's part of the conversation here, which actually now I just thought of another thing that I don't know why it hit me. But anyway, I'll get there in a minute. So to start this off right, I'll have to tell you, went into the men's room here a little while ago. You always know it's going to start right.
This is how we're starting.
Yes, that's right. And,
gosh.
normally I will not use the men's room when someone else is there. Like there's a code of ethic, and it's a silent code of ethic with the men's room in this building because we have a urinal and we have a toilet. And it's, if someone's in using, you normally would not. Like if someone,
really?
Well, yeah, if somebody's using the urinal, you don't want to stand in there and wait. So you're like, I'll just, wait. I had to go. I had to pee. All right. So I'm like, whatever. So Doug is over taking a pee, and I walk in and I'm like, I gotta pee. There's no getting around it.
Yeah.
So into the stall I go, and there's always the interesting, you really shouldn't have conversation in the men's room. Although I hear you women chat it up all the time in the ladies' room.
Yes,
it's like, what happens? You sit down like it's coffee talk all of a sudden. You're like, well, I'm here to tinkle, but.
Well, and that's the other thing is that we will go in if someone else is there. Like you were saying, like, I assume you just turn around.
Well,
right?
yeah, normally that would be the case. Now, if somebody's dropping a bomb in there, you open the door, you have two options. This is also part of the code of ethics for the men's room in the building. You either walk in and realize, ooh, somebody's having, it's a confined area, so
right.
Somebody's grunting one out. You either A, quickly wash your hands and get out.
And pretend like you actually needed to use the restroom.
I just needed to wash my hands and nothing more, okay?
I wouldn't even endure the smell. I would just get out.
And that's what it is. There's no ventilation whatsoever to this, so whatever's in there is just stewing away, right? So you either have the option to walk in very quickly, wash your hands. It's almost code to the person dropping the bomb to be like, ooh, I know you're doing that, so I'm going to make it appear like I meant to be here, but I don't really want to be here, so I'm getting out of here. Or you do the quick door open, you see the feet under the stall, you're like, out.
And also, if you will go in and wash your hands, isn't that saying to them, like, wrap it up, my guy?
Little bit, like,
I gotta go to the bathroom.
I gotta go too,
Yeah.
So, but anyway, in this case, it's pretty fair game. He's peeing, I gotta pee too. So the conversation goes like this. Now, mind you, there's a divider between us, so there's natural separation that should happen. So I get in there and I, of course, have to crack some sort of a joke because it's where I am,
Sure.
And I'm like, well, this here toilet, we're going to find out how deep and cold that water is. So Doug starts to chuckle, right?
That's what you said?
Yes.
That wasn't even funny.
Well, for a guy, it's funny because, how deep the water is and how cold it is. It's a dick joke, okay? Yeah. Now it's funny.
Okay,
got it. So it's an old joke, Works really good at those urinals that go from, and you wouldn't know this because you're not usually using a urinal. Unless the surgery got scheduled. Yeah. So usually where it really works funny is when they're the urinals that used to be, they'd go to your chest and go all the way to the ground and you'd be like peeing between your feet.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
You've seen those, right? All those times you stop into the men's room. So
a time or two.
So at any rate, so that's the icebreaker right there. Well, I start to pee first because I got to go. And he's like, man, and he was in there before me. He's like, man, I haven't even started yet.
Now we're in a conversation.
Yeah. So now, and it made me kind of chuckle, right? And I'm like, oh, well, I really had to go. And I'm laughing. And I go, don't make me laugh too hard because if I push, I'll fart. So
I've heard you say that before.
I've got to ask, does this happen to women as well as men? Or is this a position thing where, because 90% of the time we're standing when we're urinating, that is it because if I push too hard as I'm peeing, like I'm really getting that flow going, the stream is engaged. Because for a lot of guys, I mean, at least in my case, if I push too hard, you'll get a, does it work like that for girls too?
Not quite. So what will happen is I'm already sitting. So usually it's like, you know,
but it works. Okay, so when you're peeing, your body
you fart.
You do.
Yes,
okay, your body has to fart.
That's so true. But I wouldn't. We definitely talk a lot in the bathroom.
You said we.
We definitely talk a lot in the bathroom, but I never make a joke about my bodily functions in the bathroom.
But we're guys. That's all we know how to do. That's our humor. It's bodily function humor, you know?
I wouldn't make a joke
what are you going to say to your friend in the bathroom? Nice queef.
Right? Or like, I hope my lips don't get cold. Like, then I'd have yeah, right?
Well, that would be really awkward if you sat down and said, we're going to find out how deep and cold this water is.
Do your lips hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow?
Oh, so that was my trip to the bathroom.
We definitely talk, and I might talk about, honestly, it's like work stuff, but if I fart, I'm not like, right. No, you don't acknowledge the fart. No.
But it is funny to say, don't make me laugh too hard. You'll make me fart, because what happens. Sometimes you get so much pressure buildup.
You will get that person, though, that sometimes it's somebody you know, they fart. You either ignore it or they'll go, oops, or excuse me. And I'm like, well, this is what we're here for.
See,
well, I don't need a whoops and I don't need an excuse me, but okay.
I like that. But I also love the fact when you girls get to sit down, and should a fart happen while you're peeing, you get the glorious full bowl echo.
Oh, that is glorious. And that's the other thing I was going to say was usually it's that, that fart,
which still has an echo. How?
But this always happens at like TJ Maxx, JC Penney's, or Cedar Point. That there's always somebody.
Cedar Point.
Yes, there's always someone blowing it up so loudly.
Oh, you guys get that?
Oh yeah. It's
like the constipation decided to end right this minute.
It's like I think we've talked about this before, and it's always the woman who is very charismatic, and it'll be, oh, sweet Jesus. Oh my goodness, I had to get it out. Well, I can't believe that just came out of me. She's the only one talking. No one's responding to her.
Out of both ends.
Yeah, exactly. My God, that's been building up for weeks.
I got Gaia.
Yes. That's the only time. Because let me just say, as a white woman who has loud gas, I'm not in there going, sweet Jesus, I have gas. Oh my goodness, unless one of my girlfriends is in there who I'm really close with, and then I'll be like, girl, oh my God, my belly was rumbling.
Had to get that out.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, I'm sorry, but a black woman is the best in the bathroom, because it is a theatrical performance of what just came out of her.
Yeah. It's wicked on the toilet.
Yeah. Oh. And how is it that I also never hear, like, just to like break it down even more, I never have heard an Indian person, you can hear the different dialect. Southern women, also vocal. Southern women are also the like,
again, oh Lord, Lord have mercy.
Or be like, honey, oh my gosh, the demons are being released in this stall.
Heavens to Betsy.
Yes, exactly. You never hear like an Indian woman. I'm not going to do any impressions or anything like that. You never hear an Asian woman.
Not, we could do a southern lady blowing it up, but we can't. Whatever.
No,
right,
not doing an Indian lady, not doing an Asian lady.
All right.
But I never ever hear an Asian lady or an Indian lady blowing it up in the bathroom.
No.
Why
never.
not?
Because they've already shit in a hole in the ground like India. Well, it's true. That's not a joke. You know that in India there's a lot of that happens.
I mean, I kind of thought that they were past that, but
I think there's a huge portion of parts of that country. There's obviously huge parts of the country that have plumbing, but there's also parts of the country that I think that's where it happens.
I heard, and this could be, somebody needs to set me straight on this. I heard that the reason why they don't, I think or why they wave with the left hand is because they wipe with the right or something. Did you?
That sounds like something your uncle would have told you when you were a kid.
Probably.
It's like there's not really truth to that. Because have you ever raised your hand up like you're going to wave and you look over and you go, oops, didn't get all the poop off those fingers.
And
Come on.
why have I never Googled? Hold on. Okay. Would I say Middle Eastern?
Sure,
maybe?
but I do, and all joking aside, I do believe there are parts of the country of India that are not exactly the most sanitary when it comes to that.
Okay.
Not wiping, I'm talking about running plumbing.
This is not the first time somebody's used this question. So, no, most people in the Middle East use water instead of toilet paper to clean themselves after using the toilet.
A bidet.
Yes, the most common toilet in the middle. Man, that means they have the cleanest. So the most common
Have you
toilet.
seen what they eat? They probably need it.
Oh, yeah. Especially because I love that food, but yeah.
It goes through you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It says the most common toilet in the Middle East is the squat pot, Scott, which is also known as the Turkish toilet. Squat toilets have a toilet pan at floor level.
That's it. Shitting in a hole.
And may have a water cistern or bucket for flushing.
There it is.
Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. There's more. This is so interesting. So in Iran, people use a water hose next to the toilet for cleaning.
Cleaning the toilet, or is it cleaning their undercarriage?
Cleaning their undercarriage.
Oh.
And some Muslims use a small pot.
I mean, I got some good nozzles at home that I deliberately buy with high pressure.
Oh my God. Okay. The next one is called a lota, I believe. It says some Muslims use a small pot filled with water called a lota to wash their backside. Yeah, but you don't want to be the second or third one at the lota.
There's a lota in the lota.
Exactly. Oh, man. And then you had said bidets. People in many cultures, including Middle East, in Egypt, the bidet is also known as a shatafa. And so I think that doesn't answer the question about wiping with your hand entirely.
No.
But I think that it is mainly the water system.
I think so. But also, okay, so I was more accurate.
Back in the day.
I was more accurate with crapping in a hole.
Yes.
Yours sounds like it came from an uncle trying to crack a joke about waving with the other hand. But it's still, I get where you're going. All right, since we were talking about farts, I got to tell you what happened last night. So
what?
I was sitting next to Gavin. It was almost, we were sitting on his bed. It was almost time, bedtime. So I don't know, we were talking for a second, and he goes, and this is where you're going to be so proud. At all of 10 years old and a whopping 54 pounds, he was mid-sentence, and he goes, and you know what? And he flipped over, aimed his butt at me, and went, my kid just, what me, and farted in my face.
I love it.
Twice in a row last night.
I love that humor.
That was it right there.
That's my favorite.
I couldn't help but laugh. I'm like, that's nice. That's
great. Oh my
great.
gosh. Gavin is my favorite.
Oh my
sure.
God. He is so funny. I have to ask this question because moving off that, although it does tie into when we were joking about oh Lord Jesus. So I had to drive partway to the south over the past weekend. The hellacious route that I-81 is. And God, that road, I swear to God, all I want to do is have a rocket launcher for all the bad drivers on that road. Either way. So I'm driving under an overpass at one point, and I have to know if I saw this right or if you've maybe seen this. Has there been an uptick in people claiming to have seen UFOs?
Well, just on the show today, there was two people that texted about their aunt or uncle being abducted by aliens. So I'm going to say the answer is yes.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm not really subscribing to the whole thing. Why?
Well, because I swear I saw underneath, you know how they sometimes will put a sign, and I'm not talking about a road sign saying I-81 to the right, I-64 to the left. It'll be a sign like somebody hung it there, like
oh yeah.
You saw a lot of it for the campaign, you know what I mean?
That, and every time I go to Cleveland, there will also be those right around like the Salamanca area. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is about the reservation, but there will be all different not taking our land type messages.
Okay, you get where I'm going. Yeah. All right. This sign, I swear, and I was going 81 miles an hour, so I wasn't paying 100% attention, but I looked at it and I thought it said that UFO is really God. And I was like, well, now that's an odd twist to the UFO conspiracy.
UFO is really God.
If it's a conspiracy, for all we know, they are here. I don't know, or they visit. I swear it said. Let me Google.
Yes, please do.
Now I have to look at this because I swear I saw this.
The idea that UFO is actually God is not widely accepted belief within mainstream religions and is considered by most as a misinterpretation of religious concepts.
See, this was on I-81 in Virginia.
So it had to be true.
You're in God's country there.
Right.
No, I don't see anything about, unless it says road sign. Let's see, road sign. Maybe I misread it, but I swear it had something to do with that UFO is God. And it stuck me because I'm like, okay, that's one way to put it. Like you're trying to, I guess, get people off the path of it being aliens and saying it's God.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. It was weird to me. I'm like, have you ever seen that?
I don't know many people who believe both. So I know there's this one podcast I listen to, and this girl really heavily believes in UFOs.
Okay.
And her co-host does not. And she, you can tell it's pretty evident she's not leaning towards religion. And I mean, I've been around a lot of religious people in my life.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
And never have UFOs ever been accepted.
Okay. All right. I don't know what I saw
like,
then.
as coming from an extremely religious household, that there's got to be something out there. There's got to be another life. I'm not saying it's the big gray guy who looks like Paul from that movie with Seth Rogen.
The classic alien.
Yeah, I'm not saying it looks like that, but there's got to be some other life form.
I've said that too, and a lot of it I get, and I'm not even joking, I get it from science fiction, but something about science, modern science fiction writers, and when I say modern, I'm not talking like Jules Verne, Journey to the Bottom of the Sea. I'm talking modern science fiction. Let's go from the era of like Gene Roddenberry, the old Star Trek creator, through current times now. And we get smarter as technology advances. I've heard many times, to paraphrase a statement, we are crazy to think out of all the millions of stars in the world, or millions of stars in the sky, that we are the only intelligent life out there.
Yeah, no, but I don't know if but I don't think it's like the Jetsons where they have like a completely other, like they have shopping malls and movie theaters though either.
Why can't they be more advanced than us? And maybe that's why they're not bugging us. Maybe the theory is they do have floating malls that actually still have customers in them. In that case, you figured it out. But anyway, so say they have, way, faster than light travel, and they've got all this technology. Maybe they're intelligent enough not to come here and go, let's corrupt this society. Maybe they have seen what we got going on. Our radio signals have been, and TV signals. There's aliens out there right now watching I Love Lucy at the far edges of. This is true story. These signals go out. What?
I said, and laughing hysterically.
I would hope so. Or looking at us going, not that civilization.
I don't know why is it that I feel like that we're the only ones who can build the way we have, and because it's taken, I mean, even look at like pyramids and things like that,
which I actually believe has an extraterrestrial influence.
Oh yeah, why?
I do. I believe there were engineers that either crashed here or ancient alien times.
There was an alien that was the engineer. He was the committeeman.
Right? But
I don't know why it's hard for me to think that. It's hard
that you
for me
think we're the most advanced.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to that, yes. As odd as that may seem, because I feel like everyone is very more animalistic.
God help us. If we're the most advanced in the universe, boy, we got problems.
You
in the
don't think that
universe.
we're that advanced?
No, I think there's more advanced out there, and I think that they. I'm not saying they come down, they abduct Aunt Millie, and take her for a good probing. I think that was LSD from the '60s. I can't say for certain that they haven't observed us, but listen, here's the other thing too. If they're far enough advanced, why do they have to come and steal us? Can't they just sort of hover invisibly above, orbit our planet and kind of watch things and see what's going on? Why would they need to take us?
What would they? Yeah, because you're right. If they're more advanced, like what would they want from us?
I mean, they might want to see, are we compatible, in the sense of like, is this a civilization in 1,000 years that's worth having communication with? But if they made it here and they did it faster than life and they've beat that, or faster than light, and they've beat that whole theory of, because if the faster you travel at the speed of light, there becomes a time warp, and you could leave here the age you are now, and I'll get these numbers wrong, but the theory is right. You could leave here today. Like, say you and I beam up to my spaceship that's in the sky. I finally admitted it. It's been orbiting for years. I just haven't left yet.
Yeah.
And I say, Allie, we're going to my home world, and we're going to be traveling at the speed of light. We're going to travel a couple times the speed of light to get there so we can get there by next Thursday. Well, we get there in our timeline by next Thursday. Meanwhile, it has been a few hundred years that have passed here on Earth. So if we came back, your parents are like dust at this point, and
that'd be sad. Then I would literally have no one. Because what I wanted to ask you?
We have not beaten that yet. Until we can find a way to beat that, and obviously the propulsion to get to speed of light, we're stuck doing what we do with space travel. This is factual. This is not like made up stuff, but that's where we need to get advanced. And I think if another technology has that and knows we don't have that, we're not to the level yet that they're like, yeah, let's open the flood. Because think about this. If you're a more advanced society, let's say you've actually figured out how to have a good society, a more utopian society. People get along. You've wiped out hunger. Money's not the driving force behind why, we go to work every day. Maybe their world, it's to better themselves and their culture and further advance and explore. Okay. By the way, I've just described to you the theory behind why Star Trek is Star Trek, and I don't know why something just hit the window behind me, but that's terrifying.
No,
it could be the UFO coming to take me. I'm ready. Anyway,
that was weird.
That was
timing.
Terrifying. I don't know if anybody heard that, but something literally hit the window behind me. So, but anyway, so they have this utopian culture. Well, they also have a policy. If they are not technologically advanced to the level of, well, in this case, space travel, the speed of light, which is altering for us as a society, it would change everything, then they don't interfere, or at least they try not to. They don't get involved. They don't come in and go, hey, we thought we'd come down and we're going to change everything top to bottom, and your world is different today. Our society could not take that.
They're not as curious about us.
Well, they may have been, but I think they can observe from afar.
Okay, because we're obviously very curious about them. Then you're answering my question then, because I was thinking, do you think that they can feel and communicate? Like, you're saying that they're more technically advanced and like way greater than us, but do their feelings, are they the same as how we feel? Because you had mentioned about, well, when I come back, then my parents are dust. I don't even want to necessarily maintain the friendships that I have now. So for me to
the speed of light thing is sounding good, isn't it?
Well, no, for me to come back and then I have to like start from scratch.
Oh, do it right this time.
Hell
3
no.
friends maximum,
Right.
and everybody gets a different week.
Right, exactly. But I'm serious though. Do you think that they internally, psychologically, like how they feel, how they interact with each other, wherever that may be, do you think that they have the connections that we do as people?
No, I think that this is my personal belief on this, and it could be tainted by being a fan of like Star Trek and stuff. I think maybe it's different. Maybe you have some cultures that are more aggressive and warlike. You have some cultures that might be, what if it's like a reptile-like culture, you know, and not, I'm
like
not saying,
how?
well, I'm not saying like a brontosaurus is flying a spaceship, but what if they've advanced to walking on two legs and they've advanced from what we knew dinosaurs to be. You know what I mean? Like they're sentient, walking around, can communicate, and it may be different. They may not feel sad the way we do. However,
or love.
However, maybe that's one of the things they study, or they're.
And maybe that's why they want to come down to us.
Well, it could be, or they want to see what it's like because they don't know, or it's just different for them. Also, if they're a more advanced culture that's not totally warlike, like you see, shows like movies like Independence Day. Remember that back in the 90s?
Yeah, of course.
That was all about a bunch of aliens that wanted to steal all our natural resources and wipe us out. I don't see that as that may be a culture that is somewhere in outer space, but I don't see that as the people that would be looking at us. I think the ones that are studying us, if they have studied us or plan to, they're the ones that are more like, kind of want to figure these people out, even though we can't figure ourselves out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I wonder if they can even understand us. So you know how, like, when we're studying animals, for instance, you know, we're like assuming
the dog bark means this.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I know,
and
right,
that's why I wonder, do they really actually know what we're thinking, what we're saying?
It's going to be different from how we communicate.
You did mention the whole, like, if they have this utopian world. Well, if they do, then that means that they probably love better than we do.
Could be.
Because you were saying almost like a more cohesive universe.
Could be. I mean, maybe it's one of those things that, you know, they know. Maybe it's a culture that they have made it to that place and know we have to go through certain things and they don't want to influence that so that we can grow as a species altogether, you know,
or maybe the way we treat, and I know I keep equating it to animals, but I just keep on thinking, like, you know, stepping into somebody else's world. Maybe if they did come and take me, that it would be the good life that my dog has.
Yes.
And I should start thinking about, no, I need to go to like Area 51, and I need to find this world because I want to be treated just like that. I want to be wrapped up in a blanket and pet me all day long, feed me, and just give me drink.
Throw me a treat here and there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What a simple life. Not really, because like you're saying, they're way more advanced than we are.
Well, that's what I'd like to think that. Now, I don't know. For all I know, that the mothership could be hovering above us, getting ready to wipe us out tomorrow. Who knows?
Right. I don't know. But we do have to wrap up because we have a meeting right now.
Well, we got ourselves back in.
The boss just peeked her head in like, hey guys.
Yeah, gotta go.
Yeah.
New in for 2025. Can't wait. Lots of good stuff to do. I just want to point out, we started out with farting after you pee, and we ended with
aliens.
Mankind's future. Wow.
All right. Yep.
We're back.
See you next time.
Well, that was fun. Wasn't that fun? That was fun. Do us a favor, will you? Subscribe. Share the Scott and Allie Not for Air podcast. Touch our buttons. We know you want to.